Hello and welcome back to my channel, my folks. So, my folks, if you basically wish to learn a lot about biology, or rather about genetic engineering, or rather about biology, biotechnology in general, or even about tissue engineering, or rather artificial insemination and stuff, then you have simply to come to the right place. So, a grand welcome, and kudos to all of my friends, who have come to this video even for the first time and stuff whatsoever. Appreciate. So guys, in this particular so-called infographic addressal, what I need to emphasize on to, guys, is the topic of so-called tissue engineering and even the basically the laboratory cultivated meat, guys, Now basically, guys, onto the same topic, guys, of laboratory cultivated meat, guys. I have made a lot of videos, in the past and stuff. But it's like, one thing which I simply felt my friends was that the methodology and stuff which I explained, guys, was maybe maybe not so pedagogic, or rather it was simply succinct. So in this particular video, I wish to provide an emphasis, guys, onto the comprehensive outlook, guys, which we all guess should have, guys, towards the lab grown meat. So, guys, in order to begin about lab grown meat, guys, now one thing which I gotta tell is that now simply, guys, the current methodology and stuff, the way in which the meat is even artificially engineered, guys, in the laboratory, guys, as I've already told you, with the aid assistance of a growth medium, and which is fundamentally the fetal bovine serum. Now, guys, as I've already told you that the fetal bovine serum, like if you not gotta know great about the nicely about fetal bovine serum, guys, then you can find a link of that video in the description below, guys, and you can simply just go down and you can simply just watch that video which I made like a couple of moments ago. So my friends, one thing which I gotta tell you is that. Even the so-called growth medium, which we apparently have, guys, which seems to be the fetal bovine serum, and which basically, seems to be an growth medium, which is actually extracted, out of the blood, the fetal blood, guys, of the calf, guys, the fetal blood of a calf, guys, which is basically extracted, guys, and when that calf is actually, born, or rather, when a pregnant cow, guys, now says I need to touch wood, guys, but it's like number one, that cow is basically not being slaughtered, guys, by an abattoir, by a literally brutal and literally rancorous abattoir, guys, But that so-called calf, which is basically fundamentally developing, guys, in its fetal stage and stuff, even as a blastocyst, guys. Now in a blastocyst stage, guys, that doesn't take place. But simply, that fetus, if it's mature and stuff, guys, whatever whatever fertility rate, it has, guys, but it's like, if that thing, becomes mature, guys, then the fetal bovine serum, guys, is basically an sort of an entity, guys, which is basically, found inside the blood of that calf, guys, and that calf, which is actually, present inside a cow, Now, guys, I'm not exactly sure as to whether that calf, like I got a lot of comments, guys, or I got a lot of requests, guys, to provide an emphasis onto that subject, guys, that as to what will happen, if you extract the blood from an alive calf. But guys, it also has some certain anomalies, guys, and they are not potentially doing it in that manner. So guys, because it might pose some of the threats, guys, which seem to be unbeknownst to some of the top geneticists, guys, in India and even abroad. But the thing seems to be that the fetal bovine serum, guys, obviously needs a replacement, guys, and that replacement, the reason why it's required, guys, is that the fetal bovine serum, as I told you, it's not animal friendly, it's not really vegan, it's not even vegetarian, it's not even a thing, which is non-invasive and stuff, guys, because fetal bovine serum, I mean, if you're talking about artificially engineering fetal bovine serum also, from the stem cells, guys, then that's a altogether different approach. But guys, the fetal bovine serum, is contemporaneously, or rather customarily used, guys, in the laboratory, guys, or rather in the genetic engineering centers, guys, where they basically are conducting that vast degree of research, guys, and for the purpose of development of the artificial meat, guys, which is basically cultivated in a laboratory. But guys, one thing which I simply got to tell you is that fetal bovine sedum, guys, is also basically is basically is basically is basically not good, guys. Or rather, the fetal bovine sedum, as I've already told you, it's not animal friendly. And which is why, guys, the geneticists or even the biotechnology engineers and even the medical and healthcare professionals, guys, into the field of veterinary medicine and stuff, guys, are trying their level best, guys, to offer extraction of a growth medium, guys, from the plants and stuff, guys, and which seems to be so good enough, guys, that the nutrients and the proteins, or rather the entities, or rather the genetic components, or rather the biological entities and stuff, whatsoever, are found in a fetal bovine sedum, guys, can be basically, generated, to another growth medium, and that another growth medium, guys, should be plant-based. But guys, on to this topic, guys, there simply, has been no accurate information, guys, as to how far that has been gone. But guys, fetal bovine sedum, in reality, is used initially nowadays, guys, since 2013, guys, when lab-grown meat basically, came into its commercial existence, guys, because this ideation, existed long ago also. And guys, basically, and professor, guys, in Maastricht, in the University of Maastricht, guys, developed a so-called algorithm, guys, to actually artificially offer cultivation of cells, guys, in the laboratory, guys, in a genetic engineering laboratory, guys, through the inner systems and implicability of an bioreactor. And guys, that was back in 2013, when that thing, was commercially unveiled. But guys, the actual research, took place, a lot before even that. But it's like, even those days, guys, back in 2013 and stuff, when one hamburger, used to cost a lot, guys, and it used to cost a lot of euros, guys, a single hamburger, guys. In those days, also, guys, the concern for fetal bovine sedum, was felt. But nowadays, guys, it's simply a lot, guys. And fetal bovine sedum, guys, if it's not replaced, guys, then it's simply, gonna create a great threat, guys. Like basically, what it means is that for creating, some chicken burgers or some chicken steaks or some chicken hot dogs or some chicken frankies and stuff, whatsoever you like, guys, you might have a need, guys, to slaughter a lot of cows and stuff, guys, and which is, absolutely an process, which is absolutely an thing, which is simply, which is rather a sin, guys, it's simply not a good thing. It's basically a mishap, guys, to be very honest. But it's like, that is what it simply means. But guys, right now, guys, the great concern, which we're having is, guys, that, we basically, need to develop an algorithm, which is basically, so good enough, guys, that which can actually, extract a lot of nutrients and a lot of entities, or a lot of components, or a lot of, a lot of crucial things, which we need to take into account, guys, while opting for composition, or rather a constitution of an growth medium. But guys, for that also, you simply, cannot rely on to, and rely on to an extraction, from one certain species, guys, you basically, need to analyze, you basically, need to completely analyze the, botanical aspect of it, guys, in order to basically find it out, guys, as to which plants and stuff, or rather which vegetative species, you gotta use, guys, for the purpose of, extraction of that so-called for the purpose of extraction of those so-called elements, guys, which are going to be so crucial, guys, for the purpose of invigorating and so-called growth medium. But it's like, right now, that seems and really seems to be a really hot topic and stuff, guys. But it's like the fetal bovine sedum, guys, simply, cannot really be used, guys, anymore. Like basically, they are still using it, guys, But in the meanwhile, guys, there happen to be a lot of geneticists and stuff, guys, which are ongoing high-level research, or rather ultra-scale neotheoretically pioneering, or rather they are basically carrying out a lot of groundbreaking activities, guys, in the laboratories, guys, especially in the San Francisco, and even in the Rosalind Institute, guys, where basically Dolly the sheep, guys, Dolly the clone sheep, was brought into existence, or where it was born. But right now, guys, it simply, it happens to be a seriously, a great concern, for us, guys, basically, for the entire persona, or rather the mainstream, or the populace, or the humanity, or whatsoever, or mankind, to basically, come up with such and so, to come up with an solution, guys, again, solution, which is potentially going to be a stop, guys, or which is potentially going to abolish the usage of the fetal bovine serum. But guys, the fetal bovine serum, guys, absolutely, guys, it's even really costly, guys, like simply, the fetal bovine serum, the part of the reason why, why it's seriously so expensive is, guys, because fetal bovine serum and certain volumetric capacity, or and certain volume of an fetal bovine serum, does not simply, come from one single cow, guys, or so from one single fetus, guys, basically some 12 to 16 cows are actually, used to obtain a certain volumetric amount, guys, of fetal bovine serum, which happens to be even a matter of which even happens to be a matter of further research. But still, my friends, the thing, which happens to be is that fetal bovine serum, because of its cost, or because of the degree of its heftiness, or rather, whatsoever it is, because it's not at all, budget friendly, and it's not at all even animal friendly, guys, it's simply, highly requisitional, or rather, it happens to be a great cardinal exigency, guys, for us, even all students, guys, to basically, raise and hat of support, guys, into that industry, guys, to the genetic engineering industry, guys, to find and growth medium, which is going to be so good enough, guys, which can basically, fetch all the needs and requisitions, guys, which the geneticists and the MBBS healthcare professionals are facing there in the United States, and even somewhere in agglomeration New Delhi. But guys, that was the essay. That was basically the climax of my video, guys. Where I wanted to say, guys, that fetal bovine serum, is not a thing, which we can rely upon, guys, for a lot of things. Like obviously, the meat, the conventional meat, guys, which is basically slaughtered, guys, isn't even a thing, which we need to rely on. But guys, simply, that thing, seems to be a great concern, obviously. But it's a topic of great research and a great debate, guys, which are basically going to be the vegetative species, guys, which are going to be so responsible, or which can actually, contribute great nutrients, or rather great components, or rather elements, or rather entities, guys, or rather crucial crucial things, guys, or rather stuff, which is basically, which can actually, make another growth medium, which happens to be even more proficient, or even rather more prolific, or rather even more efficient, guys, than the fetal bovine serum. So, guys, that is obviously, a topic of research and debate. But okay, that was up for today, and my friends, for in order to know more, guys, about the fetal bovine serum, about the lab-grown meat, about the genetic engineering, about the cell culture, through which, the meat is basically, artificially, engineered in the laboratory, guys. Please do subscribe to my channel, guys. I'm your friend and follower, Master Chintamani, all planning, to be a doctor by studying MBBS after this. But okay, that was my introduction. So see you next time, guys. In this infographic series, guys. Bye.